prisoners and detainees, principally people arrested in Gaza during the course of this war. I can share with you that just in the last few minutes, we received final confirmation from the National Forensic Institute of Israel that the 4 bodies returned are, in fact, the 4 bodies of the final Israeli hostages on the list for phase 1. But it's hard to say that phase 1 is over, because embedded in the obligations of phase 1 are 2 small little bomblets. One is that negotiations for phase 2 had to begin on day 16 of this phase. None of that has happened. Somehow, Prime Minister Netanyahu, who never wanted to negotiate phase 2 because his cabinet opposes it, managed to get Israel across this line of getting all 33 of the phase 1 hostages back without beginning those negotiations. And secondly, we are just hearing from one very well-connected Israeli political journalist, Yanir Kozin, that Israel, that is obligated to leave the Philadelphia corridor, that is the border between Egypt and Gaza, this Saturday, that is part of the signed agreement, that Israel has decided it will not do so, or that Netanyahu has decided Israel will not do so. It's obviously what Israel's principal interest is in getting its hostages back, but that is also the leverage that Hamas currently holds, and we do seem to be at an impasse right now.
Yeah, as you say, very little sign of that second phase even starting to have been negotiated at Noga. Presumably, though, that also means no more hostages coming back.
That's what the families of the hostages still being held understand, although the government is not really communicating with them either. The hostages, the remaining hostages, there are about 59 of them. That's the estimate. Somewhere around 25 of them are thought to be alive, and the majority of those are conscripted soldiers. In other words, 18 and 19-year-old young Israeli men who were conscripted, drafted to the army. Their families, and I think it's fair to say the great majority of Israeli society, feels that the country cannot simply forsake conscripted soldiers. It wasn't their choice to be there. They were there on behalf of the country. That said, there are also significantly older men into their 50s there, fathers, and the families with this limbo, with Israel now de facto announcing that phase 1 is over, though important parts of it are not going to be adhered to. These families are I would say, in absolute extreme fear at this moment.
Noga Tornapolsky there.